So as you can see, the AMI with name ELB Autoscaling, we will use this AMI to launch instances. It's in ELB, Elastic Load Balancer, and using Autoscaling. So this is a custom AMI. That's why you are able to see that it's owned by me, and it will come in private category. So visibility is private. So now let's go to Elastic Load Balancing, Load Balancers. So I'll create a load balancer. I will. There are two types of load balancer as we discussed earlier, that application and classic load balancer. Application load balancer are better when we have to make some routing decisions. So in this case, there is no routing decisions to make. So we'll go with classic load balancer. I'll give some name to load balancer LB auto scaling, LB auto scaling. It will reside in my default VPC. Port allowed will be 80. So since we are accessing the website on port 80, next thing, assign security group. So I'll just select the existing security group that we created, LB auto scaling, and correct, we are getting some security message that your load balancer is not using any secure listener. That's correct, because you're not using HTTPS. In production environment, we will use HTTPS. Now health check. So the protocol will be HTTP, port will be 80, ping path, let's remove this, we'll just give slash, and response timeout is by default 5 seconds. Interval we can make some less seconds so that it will save some time. I'm making it 6. Unhealthy threshold is 2, healthy is 10. Let's make both as 2. It will save some time. Okay, now the next part is adding EC2 instances. So we are not going to add any EC2 instances right now because we want the auto scaling group to do the job. So let's not add any instances right now. Next thing is tag. So we'll just give some value to tab, review and create. So name is good, port is good, path is fine, timeout interval or unhealthy, healthy threshold, everything is looking good. So I'll just hit on create. So as you can see, the auto scaling elastic load balancer is created, but there will be no instances since we have not added any instance. Now let's go and create the auto scaling group, and we will link this auto scaling group to elastic load balancer. So what it will do is, in case if some of the member of the elastic load balancer, I mean member node, or you can say some member server of elastic load balancer is not healthy, then the auto scaling group will roll up a new instance using the image that we have created, the custom image, and it will replace the failed instance, failed server behind the load balancer. So that is the benefit of using auto scaling with elastic load balancer. So I'll just hit on creating auto scaling group. So before creating auto scaling group, we have to create some launch configuration. The launch configuration will provide some details that will be used in launching the rolling out the instances in case of failures, and it will create some rules which will be utilized to decide whether how much instances need to be created or how much need to be removed. So all these things will be defined in launch configuration. So let me go to my AMIs, and here I can see the image that I have created, ALB auto scaling. I'll select this image, and again I will just configure the details. So it's free tier only. Name, I need to give some name to this launch configuration, ALB AS LC. So this is what ALB means, Elastic Load Balancer auto scaling launch configuration. IAM role, I don't want any IAM role right now. Advanced details, I don't want any kernel ID, RAM disk, anything. So I think it's good. Let's go to the next part, add storage. So storage is already 30 GB, that's fine. We'll go to security group. So let's select some security group. We'll select the existing security group, that is ALB auto scaling. Now let's go to review. All the options are looking good. Correct, everything is looking good. So I'll just hit on create launch configuration. So it's asking me to choose a existing key pair. So I'm just selecting ALB auto scaling, and I'll create the launch configuration. So launch configuration is done. Now we will, it prompted us to create the auto scaling group. So I'll just give some name to the auto scaling group. I'll just amend some AS group. So I just amended the name. Group size. So at least we will need 2 instances to create a highly available website. So I'll just start with 2 instances. Network is default. We can select 2 subnet. Only 2 subnets are available, so I'll select both. One is in Southeast 1A, another one is in Southeast 1B. Now let's see what are there in advanced details. Load balancing. So we need to link this auto scaling group with our load balancer. So I'll just click here and I'll select the load balancer. So now load balancer is selected. That means it will link this auto scaling group with our ALB. So everything else is looking fine. Now we have two options, whether we want to keep this group at its initial size or we want to adjust the capacity using the alarms. So both cases we have. So in previous uh, videos we have done through adjusting the capacity. We have created some monitoring alerts, and according to CPU utilization or memory utilization, we have created alerts. So but in this case, let's do it by keeping this group at its initial size. That's fine. I think it will be easy and it will clear the concept. Now configure notification, that is not required. Configure tags, we can give some tag. Now let's review it. So everything is looking good. Load balancer is there. Scaling policies are there. Notification not required. So I'll just hit on create auto scaling group. Let's see. So auto scaling group is created. The desired capacity is 2 instances. Minimum is 2, maximum is 2. So that is fine. I'm good with that. Let's see the activity history. So as you can see, we have not added any instance in ELB load balancer. But as soon as we attach this auto scaling group to ELB, it is launching 2 instances because that is the desired one. So let's go to instances and see if it's launching it or not. So great, I think it's launching. So we are going good. So the two instances are launching. It's and they are just going through the status checks. So in some time they will be healthy and we can do a testing. Now let's go to load balancers. We have seen before configuring the auto scaling group, there were no instances in in load balancers, but I see the two instances which are launched just now have been added. This is due to auto scaling group. So it's such a cool feature that AWS has provided.